Hello, I am back again for another video. Um, Hopefully I'll stay more focused in this one. Because if you saw my last video, by the end of it I was completely waffling and I couldn't even remember what I said. So I've actually written down a few pointers this time to try and keep me focused. So this video is going to be on school. Because I went through both mainstream schools, I'll be doing two videos. So the first video, the video that I'm doing now, will be on my time in school from when I was around 4 years old up until I was around 13. So that will be more kind of primary school. And then the next video I'll be doing will be on from when I was 14 up to 18 and kind of my journey in that way. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this video and I hope you get something useful out of it, and please comment if you found anything in particular that you think might help or not, or if you think I need to change something. I am always open to ideas. As you know, these are kind of my first time doing proper videos, so hopefully as I do more and more videos I will become more confident and they will probably get a bit more information. Also I need to point out that because I'm in Ireland and this is going out to the UK and the American group, I won't be going into so much detail in regards to kind of the SNA's resource hours, because I'm not sure what help is available in each of the countries compared to what help was available for me. So I'll kind of be keeping it fairly general. Yeah, but I just want to point that out as well, just so if it's kind of information on what resources are available, I won't be able to go into that because it varies and everything. Yeah, so might as well begin. Hope you all enjoy. I'm going to get my thing now. Also, to point this out as well, I'll be talking more about years, so I'll be going on about when I was 5 and years old and stuff, because I don't know how the different ways of groupings are in the different countries. So yeah, I'll point that out as well. Okay, so my story. I went through mainstream school, so it meant I began school when I was around 4 or 5, and at that stage I hadn't been diagnosed with anything. I think my foster family knew there was something not quite right with me, but my social worker and all of those didn't really believe them. They just thought it was just me. You know, some people say foster kids have issues and stuff, so at that point in my life I wasn't diagnosed with anything. It was actually my teacher, who was a retired nurse who went into teaching. She was the one who was saying, no, this is not normal behaviour. I mean, I was jumping off tables, I was hiding under tables, I was being really hyper and disruptive, and I was all over the place. I wasn't really getting anywhere academically, so you know, I wasn't getting any better. So from the ages, 5, 6, in first few years in school, I wasn't diagnosed. So it was my teacher that actually really said, I mean, my foster parents knew there was something not right, but you know, they were hitting a brick wall when it came to the whole social workers and doctors and everything. They didn't want to know. But once my teacher said, no, I've read about FASD and stuff. I mean, in Ireland at that time, FASD wasn't heard of. There was no one diagnosing it really. The person who actually diagnosed me had to travel to another country to do the training, just so she could diagnose me. So no one had really heard of FASD, and I think that made it difficult as well. Because I didn't look any different. So, but once my teacher had said, no, that's when my mum and my dad, my foster parents, really began to fight, saying no, there's something not right here, and it's not fair on Maggie to be having me going through this if there's something that can be done to help. So then they began doing their research through various people, groups all over the country, and they found this one doctor who was willing to go to another country and do the training. And after it was kind of, I showed all the signs of having fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, or FASD. So she travelled to another country, she did the training, and she became qualified in diagnosing. So at around 6 years old, I was officially diagnosed with FASD. I suppose for my foster parents it was a big thing, because I suppose it was them saying, we were right, we knew that there was something wrong. And I think the social workers and all of them kind of had to take a step back in a way, being like, okay, we were wrong. So once I'd been diagnosed with FASD, so it also presented with ADHD, dyslexia, sensory integration, severe anxiety disorder. Now that wasn't a big issue until later on in my life, so I won't really be discussing that part in this video. So for the ADHD, I was prescribed Ritalin, and that kind of managed to keep my ADHD under control. I was not jumping off tables, and I wasn't completely cured my ADHD, but it was more manageable in school classroom environments. I was on Ritalin for about 2 or 3 years, and then as more studies began to come out about Ritalin and some of the possible effects it might have on the brain, and I was then changed over to Concerta, which I've been on since I was around 7, and I'm still on it now at 21. It's not the most highest dosage, so it's a fairly low dosage, but that seems to be working for me. And yeah, I mean, if I don't have my Concerta in the morning, it is very noticeable. I'm all over the place. I don't concentrate. I'm very distracted, and there's a lot more fights, and so yeah, Concerta has helped me. In regards to reading and writing in school, because I've kind of seen in a few posts and comments that people with FASD at the age of, they're not reading and writing at the age that ordinary kids are, and that was exactly the same for me. I mean, at the age of 7 or 8, I still was way below my age group when it came to reading and writing. It just wouldn't click. I mean, for me, it was the fact that I knew what a word should look like, but if I tried to write it down, it would come wrong. I wouldn't write it the way I saw it in my head. So it was kind of pretty much an easy way to sum it up is the connection between my brain and my hand aren't in sync with each other. They don't get on, I'll just say. So, and that still affects me today. It's not as bad as it was. Writing, so for me, I was doing, at 7 or 8, I was using really young kids' books on learning to write, where you have to like trace over the letters and dot to dots and stuff, I was doing that at home. It was really relaxed, so it would maybe be for 10-15 minutes, and for me it was always to make sure that so it was very relaxed. It was only done for about 10-15 minutes, and there were some days that I just had a really bad day in school, and so my mum would just be like, no, it's okay, we don't have to do the writing. So that really helped. Another thing that helped when it came to writing, around when I was about 10-11, was I have very weak muscles in my hands, so writing for long periods of time would physically really hurt me. So my mum did a bit of research, and she found a typing thing that wasn't a computer. It was an Alpha Smart. So it took a few fights between her and the rest of the school. But in the end, it was, you can't go on the internet, you can't be doing anything else. You can only do typing. So, it wasn't like I'd be able to go surfing the web or anything when I was meant to be doing my work. So I would do typing instead, as it was, I could see the letters. So that was another way to kind of help me out with the whole brain hand not working together. So I type my homework or my schoolwork, and then all you have to do is to connect it to a printer, and so we'd print it off, and then next day I'd hand it in. That was very handy, and I found that really useful. Yeah, in terms of reading, yeah, I think it was the same kind of issue. Just I hated reading out loud. I don't know. It felt weird doing it. I haven't actually thought about this in years until someone pointed out recently that their son, who has FASD, doesn't like reading out loud, and I realised, oh wait, I hated reading out loud as well. Reasons for this was the fact that I don't like the sound of my voice. So there's a big chance that I'm probably never going to rewatch the videos I'm making now, because I really don't like the sound of my voice. And another reason was, when I was reading in my head, I didn't stumble over words. I knew what they're meant to sound like, and in my head, I just knew them. Whereas, if I'm reading them out loud, I'd stumble, and then I'd kind of get really flustered and stressed, especially if I was reading in the classroom in a group, and my teacher would ask me to read this few sentences out loud. I really hated doing that. Especially if I couldn't say a word, or that everyone else would be able to say. I just felt I would do it, but I wouldn't be too happy about doing it. So when it came to reading therapeutic listening, and because I'm not an expert in that, I can't really give much details, but therapeutic listening really helped me to get that in my brain. It just seemed to open up parts of my brain that seemed to have been blocked off, or just were never used, or not really sure how to describe it. Yeah, so therapeutic listening and just practice and reading out loud more and more, even though I hated it. My mum would just make me do it more and more, and for the first while it would cause a lot of fights because I really didn't want to. But I suppose I just got used to doing it more and more, and it just became a habit. And my diction and my word vocabulary really started to grow, because I was saying them in sentences, and yeah. So I think that about covers that. Socializing. I myself know socializing with kids at my own age was very difficult for me. Reasons for this, looking back now, I think I wasn't aware I was acting differently. I must have been because bullying was a huge part of my school life. I was always the odd one out. My mum had been smart when I was really young. She kind of made me become friends with the cool kids, the popular ones. So that in itself made sure I was not always completely alone. She did this by, doing play dates from a young age, and just, yeah. I wouldn't say we were best friends or anything, but we were, I'd hang out with them, and they put up with me, I think. But yeah, bullying was a huge thing. I moved schools, and I went to this new school, and I tried to fit in, and I didn't. I was bullied, and I don't know if it's because I was trying too hard to fit in, so I'd kind of say what I thought they'd want me to say. Pretty much I'd pretend to be someone I'm not, and looking back now, I regret it. Because I didn't get to be myself for so many years, I would pretend to be someone I'm not. And for me, it was like I put on a mask. I could act like I was perfectly fine, no one would be able to tell in school, that I was really panicky, anxious, I was getting stressed. I wouldn't let it show. But as soon as I got home, it would just all come out, and that would result in huge fights. For no reason, it was just the stress and everything just became overwhelming for me. Teachers didn't believe there was anything wrong with me. That was a hard one, and for me it was also because I have short-term memory loss, so I can remember some things and not others, or especially when it came to math, I would know how to do something one day, and so we might have started something new in class, and then for homework it was to finish it. Sorry, stop it. That was my dog. Yeah, so that would be kind of my school. Just because they didn't, I don't look any different. So it'd be that we'd start something new in maths, and I'd be able to do it in the class, and then she might make us say, oh, finish this page off for homework if you haven't got it done, and usually I wouldn't have had it done in the class, but then as soon as I came home, it would be like, and I'd go and get into different clothes, take my uniform off, and then I'd sit down and start doing my homework, and I'd look at the maths and it would be like I've never seen it before. It would be completely, I would have blanked it out. That would cause a lot of fights at home because I'd be like, I don't know what I'm doing. I've never seen this before. And my mum would be like, no, you've covered it in class today. It says so in your homework journal. And I would get frustrated because I knew I'd been able to do it only a few hours before. And my brain had just made me forget. And that is a huge issue even today I still suffer with. Memory is a big thing. Everyday life, I could be told to go and empty a dishwasher, do some washing or something, and I'd be in a room and they'd tell me go and do it, and then as soon as I'd leave the room, I'd have no idea what I was meant to be doing, so I'd go and do something completely different. And I think what helps me with that is we also by saying it verbally, we also do images, so we might have cards put up around the place, pictures of dishes being washed, or so that would help me trigger, and I found that really helps me to remember, because I'm getting it in both ways. I'm getting it verbally, being told, Maggie, go and empty the dishwasher, and then I will go into the kitchen and there will be a sign saying emptying dishwasher, or Maggie, empty dishwasher, or something that would be kept up all the time. And then that would trigger being like, oh, that's what I was meant to do. Routines also were a huge thing, especially on school mornings. If I don't have a good routine, I would not be very well in school. I'd just be really disruptive and it would affect me. So we put up little place cards, or like cards on magnetic strips, where it'd have the order. So it'd be Maggie. In my room, I'd have one strip that would be 4 pictures. It would be someone. It would just be a stick person, getting up in the morning, going eating breakfast, putting dishes away in the dishwasher after I've eaten my breakfast, and wiping the table. So that would be one, just so I knew. I could look at them and be like, okay, this is what I have to do. And then in the bathroom there would be another one with brushing teeth, washing your face. And so I'd be able to see what was coming next. So that really helped me to start off my day well. So that might be an idea if routines in the mornings can be a struggle. Homework was a challenge, because I'd be so mentally exhausted after school, and then coming home and having to do loads of homework. And that was the cause of many fights. I mean, due to memory loss, I get frustrated. That would end up in huge blowouts, and there's no chance of my homework getting done. So there's most days I'd come in and there'd be a note from my mum in my homework journal saying Maggie didn't finish her homework. Maggie could only do this amount of homework. And so my teachers couldn't really do anything about it. They'd make me do it either in class or the next day's homework. And so my mum started to do breaking it up. So I might do my reading and my writing when I came home, and then I'd get up slightly earlier in the morning, and once I'd done all my routine jobs and went through it, and because I'd gotten up earlier, there'd be a bit of extra time before I went to school, so I'd do something easy. I wouldn't have left maths or anything to the morning, but it might just be spellings that could be done really relaxed in the morning. And that was another way that she got me so I'd go into school with all my homework done. So breaking it up was very helpful, especially later on in my school life at like 11, 12, 13, when we were getting more and more homework. Also, when I was doing my homework, I'd take breaks, and I'd be chewing. It might have been dried mango. I just found chewing really helped me to stay concentrating, especially during homework. If I was getting really frustrated, my mum would just be like, "Mate, just take a 15-minute break, go outside, go and do 20 jumping jacks, or go use the skipping rope or something, just to let me clear my head, and any frustration that I've been building, I could just let it drain away from me." So there'd be a lot of breaking up. I wouldn't do it all in once. I wouldn't do all my homework at once. And that seemed to cut down a lot of the fights that were happening due to homework. Also, what was key is that my mum would never really, unless I was chancing my arm slightly, she would never really lose her temper with me when it came to homework, because she could see how much struggling I was and how frustrated I was at myself. And so she'd try and keep, the vibes and the atmosphere as relaxed as possible. There were some days where I was just being a really nuts. I'd had a really bad day in school, and no amount of keeping the vibes relaxed and stuff was going to stop me from not blowing up. But yeah, she'd be really understanding that way. So yeah, I think there was positives and negatives all through school life. I mean, the bullying at the time was a huge negative for me. But looking back now, I don't think I'd be who I am today if it hadn't happened. I mean, I'm able to talk about it. I'm able to really, I'm not, it might have made me a bit of a quieter person, or I'd prefer my own space. I think that was just me anyway. I wasn't really into the big crowds and stuff anyway. I was more happier to just be in my room, listening to music, zoning out, rather than going to friends' houses or sleepovers, or, going to cinema trips with big groups of people from school. Yeah, bullying, I think it's because I was more comfortable being friends with people older than me, teachers and everything. I think I seem to present myself a lot more mature than my actual age. So I think that was another reason why that seemed to pull me apart from everyone else my own age, is I'd come across more mature. And I don't know if that was a bad thing or a good thing. I think that's just my personality in general. Yeah, so have I missed anything? So my kind of going over what I've been talking about, comes to socializing. If your child is still young, key might be something, try and, do a few play dates on your own terms. Just try and get them to make friends outside of school, maybe before they start school or really young on. And also to just, if there's any play dates or something, that what I found out was they were always on my terms, or not my terms, but my family was the one organising, just so I knew what was happening, so there wasn't anything that would kind of come out of the blue and would give me too much surprising and would cause me to become stressed, anxious. Reading and writing, I think it comes on for people at different stages. I mean, it came on for me. I still struggle sometimes, just with the writing, and I prefer to be typing rather than writing, just because I really get my hand muscles aren't very well. So if I'm writing for a long period of time, it just physically hurts me, and my hand will start to swell up. Reading, I think just try and get your child to read more and more out loud, but not forcing them. So it might just be engaging them in some kind of conversation, or if there's certain words, try and get them to put them into their own sentence. Just for them to be using the words more and more in every day. What else? Yeah. Don't really know what else I can talk about. So yeah. I hope some of you will find some of it useful. Please feel free to comment, message me if there's more topics you want me to bring up. Will probably give it a week, and then anyone who's watched this video, I might do a live in the group, and if you have any comments or any more questions, I can answer them. So I'll probably give it a week, and then I will do a Facebook Live to kind of just talk about, if there's anything you really stood out to you from what I've said, or if you have any more questions, or if you think I should need to go into more depth about some aspects, I am happy to do that. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed. Yeah, for me this is a big step. I often talk about what it's like having FASD, but not to really officials or anything. It's more, small groups. I suppose I should also, the reason I'm in Ireland, but the reason I'm in this group is because I haven't been able to find a FASD Ireland kind of group on Facebook. So I thought I'd come and join this awesome group, and it's a very awesome group. I have a lot of respect for all the foster carers, guardians, carers, who look after people with FASD, just because I know how tough it is. I look back now and just the amount of fights and crap I threw at my own foster parents, and they didn't give up. So yeah, I have the utmost respect for you all. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed, and hopefully I'll get some feedback. Negative, positive, I like it all. Bye!